Delaware County's only live television newscast from Ball State University's Unified Media Newsroom. You're watching NewsLink Indiana Midday.
Welcome to NewsLink Indiana Midday. I'm Jessica Velez. This afternoon, the White House is hosting what it calls the Make America Wealthy Again event. It's the first such gathering in the Rose Garden for this administration. President Donald Trump says he'll unveil sweeping new tariffs. He hails today as Liberation Day, while economists fear the measures could lead to higher prices. Amy Kiley previews the unveiling.
The president wants to ensure that all Americans make out well, particularly Main Street. That's the focus of these tariffs.
Today, President Donald Trump says he'll transform global trade with sweeping new tariffs. The White House says they will take effect immediately. It's still unclear what the new tariffs entail. What is clear is U.S. businesses would have to pay them. The Trump administration says altogether its tariffs could bring in $6 trillion of revenue over a decade. That would effectively be the largest tax increase in U.S. history, even adjusted for inflation.
I think all of us are anxious to see and will wait to see what the president actually comes out with.
The Senate is set to vote on a resolution aimed at blocking the tariffs on Canadian goods. Republican Senator Rand Paul is co-sponsoring it, along with several Democrats.
You're going to pay more for groceries because we bring in an awful lot of agricultural products.
Economists say tariffs benefit certain domestic manufacturers by landing them more business. On the flip side, that's why they can hurt international producers. Some countries say they're preparing to retaliate while hoping for new trade deals.
We will approach these negotiations from a position of strength. Europe holds a lot of cards.
Measures are taken because measures are taken on the other side, but the dialogue must continue.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Israel says it's canceling all tariffs on U.S. exports ahead of Trump's announcement. China says it plans a joint response with Japan and South Korea. The White House admitted that a Maryland man was mistakenly deported to El Salvador as part of the administration's intense crackdown on immigration. Now, the administration says Comar Armando Abrego Garcia cannot be returned because he's now in Salvadorian custody. The filing stems from a lawsuit over the removal of the Salvadorian national. Abrego Garcia was granted protection status by an immigration judge in 2019. According to a court declaration from a senior ICE official, Abrego Garcia has been arrested in mid-March due to his prominent role in MS-13. However, his attorney says he's not a member and doesn't have any ties to the gang. The Justice Department will seek the death penalty for the man accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Luigi Mangione faces state and federal charges for shooting Thompson in Midtown Manhattan in December. Officials said she will direct the interim U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York to seek the death penalty if Mangone's conviction on capital murder charges. He pleaded not guilty to the state charges. On Monday, NASA astronauts who recently returned to Earth shared their details of their harrowing ordeal in an exclusive interview with Anderson Cooper.
It's for anybody that's been in a parking lot fender bender, it's like you backed up into something. So it's a little bit of a jolt. It gets your attention, but it's pretty benign.
Commander Williams, I don't know how, if it was NASA who arranged those dolphins, but I mean, that was a genius touch on all of that. Just visually, it was an extraordinary thing that those dolphins were there, obviously just by coincidence, but amazing. When we spoke last, Commander Williams, you talked about when you got home, you would sometimes dream you were in space. Have you been dreaming that you're still in space?
That has happened. So it's funny, I had a dream that we were around the table like we did on Friday nights, and I think it's just that common thing like Butch talked about, us being humans and us socializing, that really cued in my head, and we were just floating around the table, and it was awesome.
And Captain Wilmore, when we last spoke, you told me you did not feel abandoned. You made that very clear. Were you aware of the controversy that was stirred up after that interview, and how do you see it all now?
Well, we heard some of that. I can't speak to all those comments that were made or things that were said. We're not in those conversations. I have no reason to doubt that those people that were making those comments, I have no reason to doubt them. They give me they've earned my trust over the years, and I have no reason to doubt those conversations. But we don't involve ourselves with that in any situation. So yeah, we understand that was the rhetoric. We focus on our plan and our preparation, and step by step, and affecting what our nation's goals are in its human spaceflight program and the roles that we play in it. That's our focus.
And in terms of lessons to learn, what lessons do you think need to be learned from what happened with the Boeing Starliner that can be applied the next time?
There's so many lessons learned. We'll be talking about them for a long time. One of them is just make the best of the situation that you have. Thank you.
All right. Well, I wish you the best. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Let's take a look at today's NewsLink Indiana weather. These are the conditions right now. It's 64 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Expect a very warm day today with the highs in the mid-70s, but get ready for a chance of severe thunderstorms later on. Things will cool down in the 7-day forecast and expect lots of rain. High temperatures will mostly be in the 40s and 50s, and there's a chance of rain almost every day. After months of soaring egg prices, shoppers might finally catch a break at the checkout, and just in time for Easter. Egg prices may be finally giving shoppers a break. According to the Agriculture Department, wholesale eggs dropped to $3 per dozen, a 9% decline from prior this week. The American Farm Bureau says the lower costs come from noticeably fewer bird flu cases. Other factors, consumers have been buying less eggs, which helped stores restock. Despite the cost decrease, eggs prices remain historically high. The Consumer Price Index says they're nearly 59% more expensive than they were this time last year. Easter is just about 2 weeks away, and things kids look forward to every single year are coming up, including candy. Easter is the second biggest holiday for candy in America. Only Halloween beats it. And for 8 decades, one generational family has created chocolates for the Muncie community. NewsLink Indiana's Amelia Winter reports.
Established over 80 years ago, Lowry's Homemade Candies has been proudly serving the Muncie community with their quality products. I'm Amelia Winter, and I was able to learn more about this family business and how they've been able to stay afloat even during the toughest times. Since 1941, Lowry's has continued to make its chocolate the old-fashioned way, hand-dipped. Store owner Charles Joseph always prioritizes the customer, which has contributed to the business's success.
Anything that you're wanting, we can do in a heartbeat, where our competitors are going to stick to their kind of traditional lines or traditional pieces.
The shop has a variety of chocolates and candies year-round, which makes them unique. With being a small business, challenges have arisen for Lowry's, such as losing suppliers to big companies that provide them quality ingredients and supplies.
It's harder and harder each and every year to get ingredients or materials. Just like this year going into the business, we went to place our wrapping order. They went out of business.
However, with the community's support, the shop continues to overcome its struggles, especially when the COVID-19 pandemic hit, which hit the small business community the hardest.
We had plans of just shutting the doors and just ceasing operation, but our amazing customers were literally calling us saying, "Can we come get candy?"
With a long history behind the business, Lowry's is committed to a lasting future.
Being that home-friendly store, everybody's got fond memories of Lowry's. You know, we're starting to see a lot of customers come in that are second or even third generations themselves that talk about their grandparents or their parents and how they used to come in. So it's kind of that homey, kind of that warm feeling you get when you think about home.
Lowry's plans to continue growing in their business and creating more quality candies as the year goes on. In Muncie, Amelia Winter, NewsLink, Indiana.
And that's your NewsLink webcast for today. Thanks for joining us. Be sure to join us tonight at 6:57 on Ball State PBS. And for news anywhere, anytime, go to ballstatedaily.com.